morning, and welcome to the first of what I expect to be many installments of Ask Me Anything. For years, as a personal trainer, I've been asked questions, and here in this space, for you, kind listeners, I will endeavor to answer all of your questions on health, wellness, nutrition, strength training, conditioning, weight loss, any and all of the above. If you have questions for me, real easy, you can submit them to me by email at dan@danhermanperformance.com, and I will answer each and every one, either directly by email or right here in one of our sit downs. Today we actually have a couple of questions that go very well together, and I'll read the questions and then we'll go through them. First off, we have a question from MJ, who asks, why do we gain or lose weight when activity and diet has not changed? Great question. Again, something I get asked rather frequently. Second question, and then we'll see how it sort of dovetails together. We have a question from Candace, who asks, why on some days can I lift X pounds, but on other days I can lift X minus 5 pounds, or my weight, my strength fluctuates day over day? And I think both of these questions are great in how closely interlinked they are. The things that I want to make sure I get my thoughts together here, but the things that sort of mesh with this are well, honestly, everything matters. All of it matters. Your amount and quality of your sleep, the choices you make as far as nutrition throughout the day. Certain foods affect us differently on a daily basis. I'll come back to that in a second. Water intake, and I think we could all be a little bit better as far as that goes. Stress levels, how stressed we are throughout the course of the day, which then goes right back to the quality of our sleep, and also potentially overtraining, either a particular movement or a particular muscle group. So, I do want to kind of touch on all of these individually. Sleep quality is pretty apparent. We all know that we need to get somewhere between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, quality sleep every night. It was about a year ago that I decided to take on a little supplemental help to help with my sleep, a combination of magnesium and zinc also, I believe, and a little bit of melatonin. And it has done wonders for the consistency of my sleep. Is it great? Is it perfect? No. But it certainly is far, far better than it was. Daily food choices is really important because I think it's necessary for us to remember that not all foods are going to affect all people the same way. Wars are waged over nutritional philosophies, but if we consume, say, if we're a little heavy on our processed foods, for instance, or if we consume a little bit more salt, or if we're deficient in, say, proper carbohydrates, if we're not taking in enough protein, protein is the conversation that I have questions lined up, but protein is the conversation that we all need to have. The choices that we make for food on a daily basis certainly contributes to this. Water intake, yeah, people will say 8-ounce glasses of water every day, and I think that's certainly a great starting point. There's no nice way to say it, but urine color is the way to go. If your urine is about straw color, give or take, then you're in a pretty good way. If your urine is crystal clear, maybe a little much, but we definitely want to aim for that straw color. And to be clear, tea, coffee, all caffeinated beverages are diuretics. So we want to be careful on that. All other beverages, I suppose, contribute to your hydration. But if you're an adult, let's just drink more water, shall we? Stress levels, I think, are also important to remember as well. The more stressed we are, we have that heightened sense of fight or flight, and that can affect everything that we do. So with that, when we talk about, say, strength training, it's also important to remember that our progress is never a straight line, right? It's never linear. So there will be natural undulations to that as we go along. So one day you'll be able to lift a certain weight, X pounds, say 8 kilograms, 18 pounds. Another day that will feel heavy. Other days you'll feel like it's extremely light. That is the natural order of things. Progress is not made to go straight up in a linear fashion. That is why, say, strength training and endurance training programs are often periodized, because we want to have that level of increase, plateau, your body rebuilds and adapts. Increase, plateau, rebuild and adapt, and then work up. Again, it's never going to work the same for everyone, but that's often how it's approached. As it relates to daily fluctuations with weight, all of the above that I had mentioned certainly go into that. Water retention would be one thing certainly to consider, which goes into quality and volume of sleep, water intake, stress levels, food choices. For women, menstrual cycles have a huge impact on daily scale numbers. And I want to remind you all too that scale numbers are just one metric. They matter, scale numbers matter in terms of overall health, but they are not the number. So if weight management is the goal for you, then I think it's important to remember that there are other factors to take into account. Yes, weight matters. So if weight management is your primary goal, body composition change, fat loss, then either taking with a grain of salt your daily scale measurements, scale numbers, or simply spreading out how often you step on the scale. For most clients that I have who are focusing on fat loss, I generally recommend once a week on the same day, generally at the same time, wearing the same things, scale in the same place. Like we want to build a consistent form of measurement, and then we build on that from there. So I hope that helps. I know that was a lot of information in a short space of time, but really sleep quality, food choices, hydration, stress levels, and also consider too, if you have been exercising or working out for a longer stretch of time, the thought of overtraining, or maybe just the need to change up movement patterns, might be great. If you have been walking, perhaps trying to ride a bike. If you have been riding a bike, perhaps walking. If walking is easy, find a handful of soup cans, put them in a backpack, and go for a walk. That will change your perception on walking, for sure. There are always progressions and regressions for everything that we do in order to move things along. But thank you both, MJ and Candace, for the questions, and I hope that helped. If you have any additional follow-up, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm certainly happy to help out. If you have questions like MJ and Candace, as I mentioned before, you can email them to me directly at dan@danhermanperformance.com, or you can find me on Instagram at Coach Dan Herman CPT. Until next time, I'll see you then.